Ons het julle vanmôre op sosiale media gevra, wat is jou ideale avontuur? Nou ja, kyk, as jy wil weet, wat is avontuur? Gesels ons nou met Remy Kloos. Sy is besig met 'n 7 Peaks projek waar sy die hoogste pieke in die wêreld wil klim. Dit is nogal iets om na te kyk en sy het 'n ongelooflike ding bereik, ons sal nou by haar hoor wat dit is. Hallo Remy.
Hi, how are you this morning?
Surviving, which is great. We are so glad to have you on the program with us. Tell us about your 7 Peaks project, please.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've just come back from Nepal, Everest, which was an absolute incredible journey. I summited the highest mountain in the world, and I also summited the 4th highest mountain in the world, back to back. Just as a little bit of an extra, I kind of wanted to represent the women of South Africa because no South African has ever completed this feat, so I wanted to represent our power. And let me tell you, the women are strung out there on the mountain, that's for sure.
Wow.
That's great.
So yeah, just to your question, I have one more mountain of the 7 summits to complete, and then I would have completed that journey. But it's more than just the summit. It's about the journey. Mountains are a huge part of my life, and I hope to continue every year with a significant peak beyond the 7 summits.
Just so the public know what you did, you've reached the summits of Mount Everest, Aconcagua, I'm pronouncing that correctly, I hope, Mount Denali, Kilimanjaro, Mount Elbrus, and the Vincent Massif. These are all in Asia, South America, North America, Africa, Europe, and Antarctica. And you only have one left, hey?
That's correct.
Remy, I want to ask, so there was an article where it said last year you wanted to also climb Everest, but the weather conditions were bad, and after 57 days in the Himalayas, you actually couldn't do it. So I think for us who aren't necessarily like mountain climbers, can you just describe some of the weather conditions that you have to deal with?
Sure, and that's accurate. I was there last season, and there were 2 cyclones. There were many deaths on the mountain, and the weather was unprecedented last year. Temperatures -40. As I mentioned, the cyclones prohibited many successful summits. This year was the complete opposite. The jet stream that usually hits Everest, which dictates the weather patterns in which you can summit, didn't quite surface this year. So the season saw beautiful summits across a big period of time, and we were so fortunate. We even managed to summit over the super blood red moon eclipse, which I don't think anyone in the history of mountaineering can say that they stood on the roof of the world and witnessed this lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
So I think because of all the struggles and setbacks last year, Mother Nature was just like, Remy, we're going to give you the best summit experience ever. And they delivered.
Something that I am totally flabbergasted about is the fact that you've summited Kilimanjaro, Mount Everest and Mount Lhotse within 24 hours or in 1 day, 2 days. There was a remarkable statistic that I almost can't believe.
Yeah, no, it was a big physical feat. It was I summited Everest the 1 day, and then the next day I summited Mount Lhotse, which is the 4th highest mountain in the world. They are brother-sister peaks, so they're situated quite close to one another. So you can, by foot, obviously, very easily drop down, well, easily, I say easily, drop down from Everest, and then you can climb up another path and route up to Mount Lhotse.
That's extraordinary. It's such a feat climbing Mount Everest in itself to then continue. Obviously, you need the perfect weather conditions. You refer to the fact that you had them, you were blessed enough to have them. But getting up there, being there and deciding to go to Lhotse, was it a planned event, obviously, or was it, well, I think it should have been planned. You can't do that with just on a whim, eh?
No, it was planned, and it was Lhotse was a very significant peak for me because no South African woman has ever climbed Lhotse either. And the view from Mount Lhotse of Mount Everest is absolutely spectacular. So in my mind, there was no ways I was not going to do Lotsie. I was going to do this double, and again represent the women of South Africa and just South Africa in general, you know. And also, you know, there were 4 other men who were on my team, beautiful humans. They, after the Everest summit, they were meant to do the Lotsie summit, and they all pulled out. They all said, no, we were at our physical capacity, we cannot. And they pulled out of the Lotsie climb, so they went down.
Wow. Remy, what kind of preparation do you go through in order to climb these peaks? I mean, you're not climbing Table Mountain, you're climbing the 7 highest peaks in the world. So what kind of preparation actually goes into something like this?
Well, it is years of preparation, to be honest, the skills, and also to get your body familiar with high altitude is very important, to experience other peaks that are of significant altitude before you even decide and think about doing Everest. Once that experience is in place, then your body has built up a muscle memory on how to train, and then it's just maintenance. I maintain, and then I would say it's about a 6-week to a 2-month period of ramping it up, weighted pack trainings, 30 kgs, 20 kgs on my back, up plateau clip many times, time on feet. I did yoga. I did lots of cycling for endurance, and just mix it up and have fun. I say, you know, you've got to have fun during the process. I'm a bit unconventional. I don't own a watch. I'm very in tune with my body and how it feels. So I track my own stats. I kind of internally, and I was strong out there. I felt good and performed really, really well. So I'm very happy with how my body held up.
Remy, why summit these peaks? I mean, is it purely to have that behind your name to say I've done it, or is there a deeper thing? Why do you climb mountains? Is it like a reference? Tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you. That's such a beautiful question, and I appreciate that. In one of your photos that you showed the viewers, you would have seen a sunflower in my backpack. And so on every summit, I take this sunflower with me. And I have this saying called grit and grace. In the mountaineering industry, or should I say sport, you required so much grit to get to the summit, you know, resilience, endurance, perseverance. It's a very hardcore kind of sport, you know, very physical. But for me, if I've reached the summit and I've only focused on those sort of characteristics, is it really a summit for me? And it's not. And the sunflower represents the grace. So the grace is the humility, always being humble out there, respecting the people you're climbing with, respecting the mountain. It's the gratitude, being grateful for the opportunity, being grateful to my body. It's humanity, you know, the people you're climbing with. And ultimately, the sunflower represents positivity and courage. And for me, that's what mountaineering is all about. It's the grit and the grace. And the summit is the cherry on top. It's for the ego. We all have the ego. Mm-hmm. And I have been in situations like last year where we couldn't summit. But the journey, the climbing journey is for the soul. And the soul food is what we strive for in life, right? So it's the grit and the grace. That's what mountaineering is about for me. And I will continue it for as long as I can live, for sure.
That is brilliant. Thank you so much, Remy, for sharing that with us. A little bit of extra, the deeper meaning to mountaineering. Thank you very much. And I think we can all do with a little bit more grace, eh? Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Cape Town. Nou ja, Remy Kloos, daar's nou vir jou 'n voorbeeld. Klim 'n ietsie. Ja, ons elkeen het ons eie klein bergie, né?